asking the same question, why everyone is going towards happiness, and if it is so, then we need to find out why, and then only we can come out with the solution. So they identified it. Now it is somewhat technical, they go in. They identified that there is a consciousness which is called soul level, Atma Tattva. Okay, there is a body. Okay, and the third thing is in between there is a mind. So the soul, body, and mind. These are the three different entities that they identified. This Atma Tattva, which means the soul, is full of energy, full of happiness. The nature of this soul is a happiness. The structure of the soul is a happiness. Whoever goes towards this soul, whoever goes, irrespective of their religion, irrespective of what they think, if they go towards this, they will be happy. Like the feeling of happiness got started. But there is a mind in between. The mind is very strong here. We already discussed this morning that the mind is doing what? It's generating thoughts. When you are generating the thoughts, the body is going ahead from, like, is moving from here to here. The more the mind is, the stronger the movement is. Still, I'm just giving you a small example. Let's say this is a magnet. Think about, this is a big giant magnet in front of me. I am holding it like this. And if I put like anything with the metal, so when I put it here, what will be the direction of metal? It will be going towards the magnet. Same way, this is the magnet which is called soul, which is called the consciousness, and this consciousness is already connected with the external or universal consciousness, and universal consciousness is like a big giant magnet. So we are just separated from here, and we are the one where we are here this side, the magnet is here, so automatically the movement is towards the soul, and whenever you go towards the soul, you will be filled with the happiness, whether you want or whether you don't, whether you believe or whether you don't believe. Yes, but in between, if the mind is strong, then mind will not let you go in. So the problem over here is mind. Otherwise, if the mind fall down, automatically the feeling of happiness or feeling of uniting with the soul will happen, and automatically everyone will be happy. And this happiness, what I am talking about, it is just not a temporary one, it is a permanent one, where you don't require. See, basically there are two types of happiness we can define. The first type of happiness is where you do something. When you do something, you will be happy because you have done something, you experience something. The second type of happiness is there, which doesn't require any reason. There is no cause. It just happened because you are there. So, naturally, our consciousness is focused toward the external consciousness. That means this soul side. And that's why whatever we do in our life, whatever we try to achieve in our life, whatever wish comes in our mind, and we try to accomplish that wish, because of that we feel happy. And whenever you are feeling happy, for a seconds or milliseconds, this wall of mind is gone. And when the wall of mind is gone, you immediately have a direct connection with the soul. And when the direct connection of the soul is happening, you will be so happy. But now the issue is, see, again I'm just repeating the words. Whenever you go towards your consciousness, your soul, at that point the energy of soul will affect you, and when it affects you, you will be happy. But normally it's not the case. Normally the mind is in between, and when the mind is in between, it will not let you know that there is something like soul, there is something like Atma Tattva. So you don't know it. But as and when, because mind have generated one thought, you are focused so much on the thought, and when you are focused so much on the thought, at that time your whole energy is focused here and you completed that. So now after completion of that thought, there is nothing there. There were thoughts which was there and which was gone. New didn't came up. But in between there is a gap. And this gap is where we feel our own soul, Atma Tattva feeling for few and milliseconds. In that milliseconds, immediately you are so happy. But the thing comes up in your mind is, because I have done something, because I am eating, because I am watching, because I am going out, and that's why I am happy. So basically the happiness is generated through this flow, but it didn't recognize, we are not able to recognize it. And when we are not able to recognize it, whatever comes towards us, we pick it as a source. Let's say a guy who is consuming cigarette, he says, okay, I want to consume cigarette. Now he find a cigarette, he consumes the cigarette. Now when he consumes the cigarette, after consuming, he is so happy, he is so comfortable. Wow, it's good. So his wish was accomplished, body reacted, mind reacted, and immediately for milliseconds you have a feeling of soul. Just something light come up and you just affected with that light. But it was so small and it was so tiny that you cannot identify it. So what is identifiable for you? The identifiable thing is for you is you consume the cigarette, and that's why you are happy. So what to do next? Consume it 2 times, consume it 3 times, consume it multiple times, and become a chain smoker. So if you are a chain smoker, you will be getting that happiness again and again and again and again. But that is not the case. So basically, how the happiness is generated in you and myself when we accomplish any of the task, any of our wishes. At that point, this particular mind wall is going to fall down. So this is where yoga comes into the picture. Yoga says, so definitely, which means whenever you do some activity and that activity fall down the mind, that wall fall down, and because of that you achieved some sort of experience of happiness. So now what we have to do anything. So now focus is here, do anything which fall the wall of mind. And then there were multiple areas, multiple methods created, which is focused specifically on the activities of the mind. It try to cover the activities and try to reduce the control, the pressure of mind. Just before few days, like this is 27, right? Today 28. 27. 27. Just before few days, we just completed one camp in India. That camp is called the Mount Camp. Mount Camp is very easy. It is very doable. How it is doable? What you have to do? We provide in India, when in our ashram, we create separate rooms for every people whoever want to join that camp. They will be having like this bed, they will be having one chair, and they will be having that stuff. So they have to go into the room, they have to sit. They have to sit there and sit there for 10 days. They don't have to do anything. They just have to sit. That's all. They don't have to read. They don't have to write. They don't have to do chanting. They don't have to do any meditation. They don't have to do any activities. Simply, when you enter into the room, you have to sit like this. 10 days. When you sit like this for 10 days, it is easy to say 10 days. Even right now, if I ask you guys, let me sit like this for 5 minutes, there will be the super thoughts will come into the mind, and it will try to affect you. So in Mount Camp, in the silence camp, people were sitting there, around like 70-80 people were sitting there in the Mount Camp, and they were doing nothing. They were sitting, the time comes up, they have to go and eat the food, they have to do their daily routines, and that's all. Otherwise, for most of the time, they have to sit into the room. And what they have to do? Why we are doing this practice? Because when you do any of the activity will bring mind at a higher level. So in this camp, you don't have to do any activity. And what you have to do? Let the thought come and let the thoughts go. That's all. Nothing else. Like whatever we did this morning for 20 minutes, they have to do it for 10 days. That's all. Initial 2 days were really difficult. Anyone, for it's not like it's easy. It's really very difficult. Because you see the thoughts are coming into the mind and you are fighting with those thoughts, and this is like going on procedure. But then after 2 days, 3 days, the process got changed. Many times it happened, like within 2 days I will be having many requests. Normally I ask people, like, if you have any questions, let me know. So they come up with a question, they want to meet me. I will communicate with them by phone, by video call. And they says, okay, I don't want to stay here, now I want to go home. I said, I understand you. I really appreciate that you came here and now you want to go home, and I don't want to stop you. But just my simple request. What is my simple request? Stay for another 2 days. I understand it is difficult, but still stay for another 2 days. That's all. And after 2 days, I will ask you the question, do you want to go or no? They says, okay. So most of the time it happened that after 2 days, they never come back. They don't come back and say, okay, I want to go. I don't see that person again because he is now comfortable there. Or sometimes I ask them individually, like this type of video call, video session happen. So at that time I ask them, okay, so you want to go home, right? So you can go. He says, no, I'm good. Why? Because initially the thought process, the mind will show you too many thoughts. If you have to, like, if you have any enemy and you have to take a revenge from him, ask him to sit in for a Mount Camp. Why? Because initial 2 days were like you are fighting with yourself 24 hours. In past or in future or right now, whatever wars happen, that war will be the smallest war. But the fight with yourself, that will be the biggest war, because this is happening to you. That war happened to someone else. You were not fighting in there, but now this war is with you guys. So they said for like 2 days, and after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, the process of mind, because you are not speaking, you are not talking, you are not doing any activity, so automatically the whole process slow down, and this mind, wall of mind, it is falling down day by day. So by that way, at the end, when we complete the camp after 10 days, they realized that they understood what I am saying, what we mean by observing the thoughts. What we mean by identifying the thoughts? What is the meaning of being the witness? So basically, this is how a yoga is focused on. You have to work on specifically the wall of mind. Now, another issue is when we are focused on the mind, we cannot fight alone. We need the help of something. And that something is called prana energy. That something is called the living energy inside every one of us. This is the energy which is like in India it is called, in yoga it is called the prana. Here we are saying life energy, here people are saying universal energy, whatever name it is, but the energy is the same. You need to get a support from this energy. And once you have that support, automatically the power of mind will decrease. Our first focus, we understand first thing, mind is the cause of pain. So you have to reduce the pressure of the mind. When you want to reduce the pressure of the mind, what you have to do? You have to focus on that. To fight with the mind, there is another way which we have to add in, and that adding is what? That is the prana energy. That prana energy is the one. Okay, let me give you the example in other way. Sun is there. It is throwing light towards us. It is million years away from us. But the thing is, in his presence,